Virginia contractor accused of leaving several families with unfinished houses and new properties that were poorly constructed.
Our Larry Miller spoke with the families and the contractor in this latest controversy. It's a WUSA 9 investigation you will only see right here.
We noticed that the builder actually cut a corner. This was to be our forever home. It turned out to be just a nightmare.
All of those gaps are out throughout the windows. We have to replace all of those. We were so stressed. It was insane.
I don't know where all of the money is from 5 to 6 families.
After seeing our previous series calling out the contractor, 3 other families in Northern Virginia reached out to us with their own story. In various lawsuits, they say that Greg Dempsey with Stonehill Builders committed fraud, larceny, and violated Virginia's Consumer Protection Act. Now these families are fighting to get their money and their lives back on track.
How does this continue to happen?
The homeowners say Dempsey and his company Stonehill Builders turned their lives upside down, causing them to lose millions of dollars collectively. In court documents, Tammy Hartzler said the builder was in breach of the Virginia Consumer Protection Act and misrepresented that the home had been properly built with good workmanship. She hired Dempsey and Stonehill Builders in 2013 to build her $800,000 custom home in Haymarket. And once she and her family moved in, the problems popped up.
And it was the winter of 2014. And all of a sudden, the heat goes out. We had cracks starting to appear across the ceilings, the walls, the corner beads were popping off. Our sink fell out, one thing after another.
While she admits Dempsey did do some repairs, they were minimal, installing a 2x4 to hold the sink in place.
There has to be this sort of sinking feeling in your stomach about, man, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Yes.
So we're supposed to have a deck. That's not going to happen.
And then there's Elizabeth Fouché. Dempsey was contracted by Fouché in December of 2021 to build a $1.5 million house for her family in Nokesville, Virginia.
There's no windows, no doors, no roof. So water was getting in all the house. The wood started warping. We had cracks all over the foundation. And we're like, okay, what's going on?
Well, according to Elizabeth Fouché, not much. She showed us around. Now she and her family are working together on weeknights and weekends to turn this shell into a home.
All the money right now is coming out of course, our pockets, from savings or from the college funds for my daughters.
It's like you're almost having to rob Peter to pay Paul at this point.
Robbing Peter means robbing yourself.
That's exactly how Sean Hess and his wife Lindsay feel. The couple signed a contract with Dempsey to construct their custom home in February of 2021. They too encountered delay after delay, even as Greg Dempsey drew funds from their home construction loan. And as their move-in date approached,
we finally get an email back from Greg indicating that they're ready to start framing. Perfect, we're excited, let's go. He said, well, we got a little bit of a problem. The framing package went up $97,000.
This was a problem for the Hesses because the cost of the framing package was already included in the contract. Their attorney advised them to pay the extra cost and to have Dempsey sign an addendum to the contract. And as construction began, they saw more red flags.
This board is super brittle and dark.
So we ended up having a shoddy framing job. It was rotted wood, it was disheveled, it was warped. They said, oh, we'll replace those pieces. No, they installed them.
The couple say there was extended periods of time with no progress made on their house. And when another move-in deadline came and went, they fired Dempsey, leaving them on their own.
We literally paid for the house to be built out of savings, 401k, maxed out credit cards, and friends and family doing the painting, the electrical, the plumbing, the roof, the foundation, the framing package, all of the wood. He never paid for any of it. Where'd the money go?
We had that question and more for Dempsey. Why did he stop communicating with the families? Why did he stop work on all of these houses? We requested an interview with Greg Dempsey through his attorney. He declined. But in a statement told WUSA 9, Mr. Dempsey appreciates the opportunity to give his side of the story. However, due to the pending litigation in Mr. Dempsey's bankruptcy case, as well as against his company, he is declining the offer and he wishes to make no comment at this time. In a response filed by the court to his attorney, Dempsey denied the allegations against him.
Can Virginia look at this situation and this man and prevent this from happening into the future?
But government is not doing what it should. You know, it's supposed to protect us, and it hasn't protected us.
The homeowners took their concerns to Virginia's Department of Professional Occupational Regulation. Emails show the agency elevated their complaints to Virginia's Office of the Attorney General for further review and investigation. The Attorney General's office had no comment when we reached out regarding the status of the investigation. John Robertson is with DPOR.
DPOR's authority is confined to the regulations. We're not law enforcement, in other words. When something rises to the level of law enforcement, whether it's fraud, whether it's unlicensed activity, we refer those cases to the Attorney General's office.
Meanwhile, as they wait for answers, these families are forced to make tough choices to get back on solid financial footing.
We're in the process of looking at possibly selling the property and starting over with no money.
I have no retirement at this point. Pretty much living paycheck to paycheck, just paying attorney's bills to try to get to resolution.
Larry Miller, WUSA 9.